So I've been asked to start. And I've been told that I have to speak English. That was possible that I wait, shall I do the Spanish or the English? And say English. So thank you all for coming. My name is Belén Camilo Rivas. I am the head of Research and Development, Innovation Projects and Strategy for the Therapeutics Research and Development Division here at Pfizer. And I can tell you a few words about Pfizer. We are right now in this building 1,000 employees. We are close to 3,000 in entire Massachusetts. We have a site on the world. And I can say that right now within this building, we do research. We host many different research units in the areas of neuroscience, cardiovascular metabolism, inflammation, and rare diseases. We also have clinical partner lines as well as development lines supporting what we really want to do, like make drugs for patients in need. And one of the approaches that we have at Pfizer is patient-centric. We really look at what the patient's needs are and we want to collaborate with all the stakeholders from the ecosystem, with patients, with payers, with biotech, with academia, with VCs, social entrepreneurs like Ricardo. And this is who we are. I mean, we really want to work with those that are closer to the patients to actually have a better understanding of the disease, because that's what is going to give us the competitive advantage. It's not about who owns data. It's not about who has the more money. It's the one that knows best and the one that has the better understanding of the disease. So I want to thank Ricardo for actually coming here, as well as Cristina and Gustav, for reaching out to us and trusting us in hosting this amazing event. So thank you very much. And welcome to Pfizer.
Thank you, Ellen, for the nice introduction. My name is Cristina Vázquez. I'm the president of ECUSA Boston, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what ECUSA is. First of all, I would like to thank Belén for helping us, and Pfizer, of course, to organize this event tonight. Also, Ricardo for sharing his amazing experience with all of us. And I also want to thank all of you for coming tonight, and our sponsors, the Fundación Ramón Areces, the Spanish Foundation for Science and Technology, and Pfizer, who are helping us to host this event tonight. ECUSA stands for Spanish Scientists in the US. But this association is welcome not only to scientists, but also professionals working in technology, such as engineers, and any other professionals working in communication, education, or administration related to science and technology, or even any other person with an interest in these fields, even if you don't work there. All of you are welcome, and we hope that you can join ECUSA as a member after tonight if you are not a member yet. ECUSA was founded over a year ago in Washington, D.C., and after that, we founded ECUSA Boston here, and a little bit later, ECUSA New York showed up, and tomorrow we have the launch event for ECUSA California. So we are growing, and we are very excited about it. We have over 500 members of the association, and we have 1,000 people in our lists. And as you can see in green, we have 30 states following us in the United States. In ECUSA, we have 3 main goals. The first one is to establish a network of professionals working in science and technology so that you can get to know each other, establish collaborations, and even help each other to find a job or anything. We also want to expose the high impact work developed by professionals working in science and technology by organizing seminars like the one that we are hosting tonight. And we want to serve as a point of contact for institutions or media. And I'm going to talk about the program that we have for this year, where we're going to organize seminars related to science and technology, like the one that we have here tonight. And we have a very extensive program for professional development and networking, where we have the following activities. We are going to have one workshop for job search, where we will help you to design your resume here in the US and to nail an interview. We are organizing this in collaboration with the Chamber of Commerce and the Spanish Embassy. And if you want to sign up, you have to hurry up because we only have like 15 places. We also have a mentoring program where the mentors will be one level ahead of the postdoctoral level. This is for professionals who are already established here in the US, and the mentees are people who just arrived in the US. We are also working on a welcome package, which is all the information you need to know when you arrive in the US in terms of visa, apartments, areas where to live, etc. We're going to post all this information in our website. We are also working on a journal to summarize all the publications and patents published by the members of ECUSA to expose our work. And we have a networking event that we call Ciencia y un Jamón. Here we meet in a bar in the area of Cambridge, and it's just very formal so that we can get to know each other. And we have a raffle for jamón. Actually, we're going to have some tickets, so if you're interested in buying some, we're going to offer them during the reception. And in terms of education, we have this interesting program called ECUSA in the Schools. And what we do here is we bring volunteers that go to the school to talk about their jobs, what they do related to science and technology, and do activities with the kids. We want this person to serve as an inspiration for the next generations, like a role model to follow. If you want to participate in any of these activities, or if you want to become a member, it's very easy and it's free. You just have to go to our website, ecusa.es, or you can send us an email. Our address is boston@ecusa.es. And you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Marta Murcia. She's a member of the board of directors of ECUSA Boston and the organizer of this event.
Thank you so much. I'll be really quick. When we were organizing this event, I said to Christina, please, I would love to introduce Ricardo. So that was what I wanted to do because I have had the pleasure of knowing Ricardo since the beginning of the year and the story of Richie and the Richie Foundation. And it's such an amazing and inspiring story and journey that is my great honor for me to be able to introduce Ricardo and to have him here today to share his story with you. To tell you a little bit about Ricardo, in addition to being the founder and the president of the Richie Childhood Cancer Foundation, Ricardo is also the corporate advisor of Ephron Group, an international consulting, IT, and outsourcing company providing services to the financial sector, healthcare, telecommunications, industry, and public administration. And he's also the director of investment relations of that venture, one of the companies of the Ephron Group that develops this activity into the venture capital sector. Ricardo also serves as a member of the Pediatric Patient and Family Advisory Council at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and he's dedicated to improving hospital programs for policies and the overall quality of cancer care provided to children, teens, and their families while in treatment and afterwards. He has much more to tell you about his work, about the research on the Richie Foundation, and I'm gonna let him tell you that amazing story. So I'm thrilled to introduce you, Ricardo Garcia.
Does everybody know me well? Yeah? Can you hear me there? Out there? All right. So, yeah, thank you very much, Ikuso, first of all, for letting me in tonight. Thank you very much for the institutions, for all the sponsors. Thank you very much, Pfizer. That's a wonderful place. I think I'm gonna organize more than one this, and that's for sure. Thank you very much, Mark, for your introduction and for your support, and to everybody that's been here tonight. Let's kind of start talking about the Richie Foundation, but before to talk about the Richie Foundation, I want to explain you and show you some pictures about Richie, and I want to just apologize because some of the pictures are really tough, but I think that it's important for you guys to realize how tough it is to be child cancer and how tough it is for families, especially for kids, to be that disease. So sorry about the pictures, and if anyone feels hurt, so I apologize. So everything started 28 November 2011. We're hanging out with Richie. It was the day before he was diagnosed. Richie felt really bad since the last 4 months before he was diagnosed. He was having a kind of headaches or throwing up continuously, and very dizzy. Sometimes he felt tired. He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to hang out with the friends. So finally, Mom and I, we were just thinking, we bring him many times to the hospital. And the doctors were saying that, he's suffering a kind of a virus, or maybe it's a sinusitis, or sulfur, all type of things. After 30 visits, we took the decision ourselves to do a research on the internet, and then we found out the symptoms that he was suffering were very, very indication, was a very good indication that he may have a kind of a brain tumor. Of course, when we came back to the hospital and then we told them, we are 100% sure that our son is having a tumor in his head, so they were laughing a lot, which is very normal. I mean, the possibility and the probability that our kid is diagnosed with cancer is really low, really low. The percentage is absolutely, there's some pediatric people, some pediatric physicians that they were never so a case of childhood cancer in his entire career. So we forced them to do an MRI, and one day later before Richie had to bring him to the hospital. He just got the confirmation that he was suffering, was having a brain tumor in his cerebellum. That brain tumor is called medulloblastoma. It's one of the most aggressive brain tumor for pediatric oncologists. It's classified as a stage 4, and the survival rate depends on the prognosis and depends on many things. So we were dealing with one of the most aggressive brain tumors that exists. That was one day later, so third day. 30th of November 2011, after a surgery of 15 hours. Unfortunately, the doctors and their surgeons, they couldn't remove the entire tumor because it was a kind of stagnant into the brainstem. This is what they told us, very complicated. And if they were trying to remove a little bit more, which would be a situation that they could just die in the surgery room. So what we did is that they tried again, and which he had up to 8 different surgeries, lasting of each of them of more or less an average of 14, 15 hours for 2 continuous weeks. So it's been 2 weeks having extra different surgeries, so his body was really suffering a lot. But again, they wouldn't just be able to remove the entire tumor. But the proposal that she suggested is that, we only got 20% of the tumor. What we could do, what we suggest to do is just to try to nail the tumor with radiation. So we got the maximum height of doses that a person can get on his entire brain, on his entire spine, because medulloblastoma metastasized the spine is one of the most aggressive tumors. That's a very cancer. So, we went through the entire radiation treatment, and Richie wasn't feeling good because he had such a big piece on his head. Even though, he was trying to be positive, and he was trying to show Mom and I, to show the rest of the people that, we really want to survive, we really want to beat that disease, we really want to make it. So he was the one who was always behaving like a superhero all the time, so everybody was calling him Super Richie in the hospital, like, everybody does with this kid. I was suffering so much. And then he was trying to make jokes every time that he felt good. It was just good times, by the way, but during the 4 months that we were inpatient in the hospital in Spain, he had some good times, and we tried to make our best. He was also the one who was trying to cheer out the rest of the patients and trying to give them, the kind of strength that they need to beat that disease. But unfortunately, the situation was getting worse and worse, and the prognosis that Richie was going to survive was getting very low, and even the doctors told us that probably that he would survive was almost non-existent because he had the 80% of the tumor cycling into the brainstem. So what to do? Mom and I, we thought he was going to die, so we want to be sure that we made our best. So we want to be sure that at least, we did our best as our parents. It was our responsibility. And we did something that is not normal in our country, which is look for a second opinion. Something so simple and so easy to just ask for another doctor for his opinion of that situation. And this is what we did. We contacted with Dana Farber, and it was very surprising because they just reacted in 24 hours. And I still remember that I had contact with Dr. Mark Young, which is the director of the pediatric brain tumor clinic at Dana Farber. And then he just answered my email. Was really surprised, and then 24 hours later, they sent him all the records, the medical records from Richie. And I was expecting that they would say, you are in good hands, you are in good hands, sorry, you did your best. And that's true, there's nothing that you can do to save his son's life. But they were talking to the neurosurgeons, Dr. Viviane Munderola from children's hospitals. And the first thing that they told me is that we don't understand why the tumor is there. So can you imagine? So after the entire radiation treatment and all the problems that we had, we don't understand what the tumor is there. I think we can safely remove the tumor without any damage. So if it's possible that we can talk with the team, with the medical team in the country, maybe we can just talk and we can see how we can make it. So we came out to the hospital and we talked with our doctor and said, listen, we found out, the Americans, they say that they can save them, That's a probability, but we sure that there's no options for your son. And then we did our best, we opened it 8 times. And then there were no way just to remove that tumor. So we finally decided ourselves to take our decision, and then we moved to Boston. I told Richie, we're gonna move, we're gonna go to the United States, and then there's a group of people, there's a group of doctors that they think we can remove your tumor. So we probably gonna get a chance to get here. It was a very difficult time for us because the main problem is when you are living in Spain and you're trying to move to the United States, that you have to pay the treatment. So which was really complicated for in our case. We weren't rich. We're just a normal family. I had several properties in Spain, and unfortunately the crisis was bidding a lot, and it was impossible to get some cash from the bank. So what I did is just call my friends and families, and I said, I told them, listen, you're going to start moving right away because I need to get this money on my pocket as soon as possible. Dana Farber called me, at least 5 times. I came to the phone and say, are you sure you're going to have money? I say, no, I'm a rich man in Poland. The guys I'm well known in the country. The big pocket guys, so that's my pocket. Money is not an issue. I didn't get any gold by the time. My pocket, that's true. But what should I say? What's my son's life? And I wanted to save it. So what I did is just contact with all the friends and families, and then they will deploy a complete fundraising campaign in our country. I contact myself with all the medias, main TV channels, radio stations, everybody, and set up a Facebook page, a Twitter, and a blog. Started writing on the blog, and one day afterwards, I was just in all of the medias talking about my desperate adventure and looking for money that I need to save my son's life. We arrived in Boston, that was March 29th March 2012. We met with the team, Dana Farber team in Boston. Was still very skeptic, and I was asking them, I don't know, Dr. Viviane Munderola, which is an amazing neurosurgeon. She was telling me, just be quiet. I know what I'm doing. I know very well what I'm telling is true. So the chances that your son is going to get side effects is really low. Otherwise, I wouldn't just put your son's life in my hands. So be quiet. You're going to make it. And they did it. After 5 hours, they removed the entire tumor. Just 5 hours. And Richie was awake after 3-4 hours after the anesthesia, and then he was able to talk to me, which was something like a miracle, because the first time that we had the surgery, the first hospital, Richie couldn't talk for a month because he was suffering something which is called the posterior fossa syndrome, and he wasn't able to talk, he wasn't able to move, but he was completely conscious of everything was happening. So we were really eating strong because we were looking in eyes. He wasn't even able to swallow his own saliva. So Mom and I were really afraid to go through the same situation. But the probably would happen and it didn't happen. So afterwards, that the miracle was done, we thought, how are we going to come back? We're going to stay here. We're going to be here. We're going to be sure that our son is getting the best people with the highest expertise for this type of particular tumor. And we entered into chemotherapy. Chemotherapy was very tough, rather tough. Even though Richie, under sedation, he was even trying to show us that, I want to survive, I want to beat that base, I want to make it. Let's go make it together. So it was given as a lesson, like every day. But unfortunately, fifth cycle of chemotherapy, his kidneys weren't able to hold the sodium because of one of the chemotherapy drugs that he was getting. And then he had multiple seizures, bring him to the ICU for a week. It took them more than 6 hours to control the seizures and just even kind of sedation. Richie was completely sedated for 4 days, and he needs 3 additional days release entire sedation from his body. He had all kind of hallucinations. Was so funny, even though being at the ICU was making jokes to the nurses, to mom and I, everybody was passing by saying, "Hi, Richie, how do you feel?" So that was a good lesson for all of us. So anyway, we entered into treatment. Finally, it was in treatment. Doctor said, we can just handle more. We can get more drugs. That's the end. So they decided to stop treatment. So far, so good. It was October 2012. Richie is here out there. So for the ones that don't know him, you can just meet him outside. He wanted to come here today to support him, to support the foundation. And so far, so good. I would say he's stable. Unfortunately, we're dealing with one remote aggressive pediatric brain tumor. So there is no way to know what's going to happen. There's a lot of side effects, which he had 17 surgeries in total, plus chemotherapy, plus radiation. The last one was 2 months ago. They had to remove a suspicious mole that he had on the backside on his head, where he got the highest dose of radiation. Unfortunately, it was a precancer, but fortunately, the margins were clear. So no worries for the moment. He's living with all kinds of problems with the hormones because of the radiation. We injected in the growth hormone. His thyroid is getting worse and worse, and then he's having all kinds of cognitive deficits and a huge risk of side effects. But you know why side effects for a father of a kid with cancer is a luxury? Because he's with us, and that doesn't happen with all the families. So there's a lot of kids that are not making it, and this is still with us, and this is the best that happens to us. So we feel blessed. At the end of the day, I shouldn't say that. We feel blessed because he's with us. And then I thought, what am I going to do? I just realized about several things, which I'm going to explain to you. And those are the reasons that I decided to set up the foundation. The first of the reasons that I decided to start the foundation is because isolation is a huge problem. I didn't know that families having a kid with cancer are so isolated. Especially when your son is diagnosed with cancer, you are a part of the world. It's just stagnant and boring. You live in a hospital. Sometimes it's not just for a year or 2 years. Sometimes treatments can last for 3, 4, 5 years, 7, 8, or even forever. Kids, of course, they don't feel good, and you are separated from your family, from your job, from your country, in my case, from your culture, from your friends, to try to save your son's life. So, can you imagine how isolated you feel? Imagine that you have kids, the ones that are having kids, and they have to move to another country. You're not having no friends. In the case of my wife, she wasn't able to speak English, so she learned French. So that's quite complicated. But that happens with all the families, even in the United States, because they have to move to the hospitals where they have not the highest expertise to save this one. The problem is that you are isolated during the treatment, but when you don't need treatment, there's also isolation, especially from the survivors. And this is one of the discussions that we have continuously at the Inter-Partner, at the Pediatric Advisory Committee. How we can help families and how we can help especially the survivors when they come back to the normal world, because they're not the same people. They have a lot of side effects, a lot of deficits. And in the case of the brain tumor survivors, this is absolutely traumatic, I would say. More than 73% of kids, survivors, child cancer survivors, will have severe side effects in the rest of their life. And 40% of those will get the risk to lose their life again. So this is because, not because of their disease, but just because of the side effects of the aggressive treatments that they got. That was the first reason. The second reason is I didn't know that there is no governments that are investing in enough research or enough funds for child cancer research. I didn't know that. Do you know that? How is this possible? Even, you know, one of the most, of the biggest institutions of the world, which is the National Cancer Institute from the United States, only invests 4% of the total budget for child cancer research. The reason is why? It's because there's not enough kids that are suffering cancer. This is so simple. Even though there are 1 kid diagnosed with cancer every 2 minutes of the world, so we're talking about 270,000 average kids diagnosed with cancer every year. But that's not enough, even not enough. For governments to invest in research and, you know, big farmers, like, you know, farmers right now here, if they're not interested in this business because it's not business. And, you know, they do business. It's all about business. So I didn't know that. I mean, there is a lack of funding, which is absolutely romantic as well. In the last 25 years, there were not so much advances on child cancer. Don't think. I mean, they're surviving because they're doing great. Hospitals are doing great. They're doing research. There were not so much funds because there were not enough money. And the third reason is because I didn't know that there is only high expertise in some places. And that's no fair. That's no fair. All the kids should get the same chance and the same opportunity to get a better prognosis. And this is why that was the third reason that I, you know, took the decision myself. I had to do something. What is our mission? Our mission is, we defined our mission based on the reasons that we decided to set up the foundation. Our mission is to provide all the kids that are suffering cancer better opportunities to save this life, to get a better prognosis, a better good quality of life for the child cancer survivors. How are we going to do this? We have to for our 4 programs. 2 of them we're going to initiate them, or we initiated already at the United States. So 2 of them we're going to initiate them outside of the United States, but all of them are going to have that knowledge. The first one is the richest house. The richest house is our way to beat isolation. So we are envisioning a place where all the kids can hang out together, a place where the family, we as a family, can just meet with all the families that are going through the same problem, that we can just exchange our experience, and not just for crime, just for enjoying that, just for being together, for having dinner, or just for talk, because I can guarantee you that nobody can understand us better than all of us have been going through the same problem. Even though our family, our friends, of course we appreciate the support, but they don't really have a clue of what is going on in our life. The only one that really can support that are the ones that have been going through the same. Especially for our son, for Richie, he's the one who feels good when he meets with all the survivors. Because nobody is asking him questions. Then he doesn't feel comfortable. It's like the other kids. And nobody is looking at him because, you know, you're missing out of your scalp because you have anatomy, or there is no hearing over here. Oh, you don't listen well because Richie has hearing loss. And you see, Richie has no, he doesn't have a very good vision. So he has double vision continuously, and then one of his eyes is not working very well, and all kinds of problems. So he feels like the weird guy at school, even though we're having a lot of support. So we're suffering a lot. So we envision a place where they can be together. And sometimes when we have those meetings of the Education Advisory Committee, we had the chance to talk with a lot of child cancer survivors. Kids that were diagnosed when they had 5 years old or 2 years old, and now they are 10 years old, 15, 20. And one of the main questions that I'm asking myself to them continuously is how I can help you. And they always say, so we need to get a place where I can meet with all the survivors. A place just for hang out, to be together, to celebrate life. This is the Richie house. This is a place where we envision to set up. The first one is going to be here in Boston. And we had some contacts with several hospitals on this further one idea, because this is something that is needed. The Ritchie House is not a hospital. It's a very different mission. Hospital has a mission here to create and to support. When you're done with the treatment, you don't want to go, just come back to the hospital, meet again with the physicians. So, you know you're going to go back, but this is not like a hospital. Hospitals are not able to provide the type of support that we need. And this is not like the Ronald McDonald House. If, for the ones that you heard about that, Ronald McDonald House is a place where you can go when you are suffering, when your son is having cancer, especially when you move from another state, or you move from another country. We were at the Ronald McDonald House in Boston for 60 days when we arrived to Boston, and they were awesome. Because they feed us, and they let us be there, and they gave us a room and a bed for free. We didn't pay, so they really support us a lot. There's more than 500 Ronald McDonald houses around the world, nearby the main pediatric oncology hospitals. And they're doing a great job. But their mission is different. It's something like a home away from home resource. It is not a place for socialize. It is not a place for celebrate life. It's just a hospital. It helps a lot of people. The one will be here in Boston. We're very ambitious. So we're going to set up new Ritchie's houses. We're going to set up Ritchie's houses all across the nation and in other countries. And we're going to do it. Sure. The second thing is the Ritchie research. We need to support research. And we're doing already that with our partner, Dana-Farber. So part of our funds that we are just going to raise in the United States, we're going to send them, we're going to give to them in order to support research. But we have another mission. And that's because I'm coming from venture capital, and because I'm very business oriented, and because the first thing that I did when I was just investigating and learning about that sector and all those foundations that are raising funds is why everybody raises funds and why nobody's investing. I think if you invest the money, maybe you get a chance to be more attractive. There's more than 3,000 organizations in the United States raising funds for child cancer. Small ones, parents, a small group of people, big organizations. The biggest ones, I guess, is the Roberts Foundation, which is raising around $40 million a year, more or less. This is more or less the biggest one. $40 million, which sounds a lot, it's nothing for research. And all of those people is trying to supporting for many years, in the last 20 years, they've been supporting all the advances in research for child cancer, especially there. My son is alive today, thanks to them, because those foundations have been supporting Dana-Farber such a great hospitals. But again, it comes to my mind the same question. Why we don't invest, try to invest money? If we invest, we will attract more interest. Because who is giving money for child cancer research? Philanthropy or families. And none of the investors are interested. None of the investors, private sector, it's interesting to support or make some gift, but that's not enough. We need big money. This is the only way to beat that disease. Why don't try to look at the solution with a from a venture philanthropy approach, which is our goal. So not thinking about funding through grants, but also investing. Okay, this is more approach. And this is a very nice example. This is the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. They had that vision 8 years ago, 10 years ago, and they decided that instead of just raising funds and turning into grants, they decided we're going to raise funds, and instead of turning them all of them into grants, we're going to invest part of these funds on research. But last year, they sold out one of their investments. They sold out the rights of a drug, which is called Canileco, for $3.2 billion. So that was a good decision, isn't it? Now they really have money to make an impact on that disease because they were thinking about investing. And this is the only way to attract the interest of investors. Let me explain you another case. You heard about Solid Ventures? This is another father who shares a good mind about the disease of his son. Ellen is the founder of that biotech company, which is based in Boston. His son was diagnosed with another aggressive disease, which is called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. There's only 20,000 cases a year, so it's even less than child cancer. Remember, child cancer, there are 270,000 new cases a year. That disease is 20,000 cases a year. And look what he made it. He thought, should I just start a non-profit organization and try to support that disease research? I'm sure he has tried to do something better, to try to think about investment. He's coming from the venture capital sector, like me. He's coming and he has a very, very business-focused oriented mind. And he decided to convince some investors to set up a biotech company. And now he raised more than $20 million. He moved from UK to Boston with his entire family. That was 2 years ago. And now he's working and investigating and doing research to try to beat that disease. You know what? Pfizer is one of the partners. That sounds great. You see, a laboratory is interested to support an orphan disease. Why? Because we're talking about business. Because they made and they're treating that as a business. And this is what we should be. This is our approach. We seriously consider it to get into that model. And this is the only way, in my opinion, to track the interest of the money that is not coming from venture philanthropists. Because if you knock at the door of an investor and you talk about, we have need, investors are looking for return on investment. And that's normal with business people. But if you knock at the door of an investor and you propose them a business, they'll probably be interested to be part of the business, and they'll probably be interested to become an investor. So this is our approach, and this is how we think we can help better research. I had a contact, I contacted with some investors that are coming from the venture capital sector. I've contacted with some venture philanthropist people, with some family offices, and I contacted with some of those 3,000 child cancer organizations in the United States. And I asked them, would you be interested in that project? Why don't just to keep a percentage of the money, and instead of just granting, investing, and then you may get a chance to multiply part of the money that you're investing. All of them say, yes, that sounds great, that makes sense. I mean, I'm not the first one who had that vision. There were some tried before, and nobody was able to do it. And I'm determined to do it. Because I think this is the only way to make an impact on child cancer research, because you need a lot of money to develop a drug. 40 million, unfortunately, is not enough. This is what we're doing, finishing 5 minutes. This is what we're doing out of the United States. We started our project in Spain and Europe. What we're doing there, so remember the first thing that I mentioned to you before? It's not fair that all the kids are suffering cancer are having the same opportunity to get a better prognosis. It's not fair. So what we made it is we create a program which is called Richie Fellows. What we're going to do with Richie Fellows is we close an agreement, an alliance between the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and San Juan de Déu in Barcelona, which is one of the best hospitals in our country, in Spain, but also one of the best hospitals in Europe. And we're going to train, we're going to pay for fellowships. So we'll select those physicians from Barcelona, from that hospital. We're going to bring them here to Dana-Farber. They're going to stay at Dana-Farber. They're going to be trained. For those specialties that we still don't have the high expertise that we need, we are not saying that we are not doing things well in our country. Of course not. We're pretty good. But we are not good on everything. And then we have to recognize what else needs to be done to be better. And there are some particular disciplines for pediatric oncologists that we're still behind. So we have to solve it. And the only way to solve it is not just try to raise money to save us on that. It's to do the opposite. It's going to bring that knowledge to our country, onto those countries, in order to save and to give the opportunity to thousands of kids that are going to be diagnosed within the next year. This is the way to solve the problem. Because unfortunately, I'm receiving an average of 3 meals per day from people around Europe and from Latin America and other countries, asking me to help them to save their son or their daughters. And I can't help them because I don't have money. This is not our goal. This is not our mission. And what should we do? We should just try to invest the money that we raise to save one life? This is not the way to solve the problem. So we have to see things on perspective. And the second thing that we're going to do, with the support from the Dana-Farber, is we're going to open Richie Foundation Regional Clinic in Spain as well. Good. Sorry, we're going to do it the same way that Jimmy Fund is doing things here, and we're great. So there is a doctor that's coming from that hospital from Spain, right in August, and he's going to stay for 6 to 8 months at Dana-Farber, learning how to know how they treat pediatric brain tumor. And our intention is to open up a place between now and a year in Barcelona, not only to serve the kids from our country, but also to serve the kids who suffer brain tumor from entire regions. Because that's something that also surprised me a lot. In Europe in general, there's no way to become a pediatric oncologist. How is this possible? You're not talking about Africa. How is this possible? Either you are a pediatric nutrition or an oncologist from adult. So if you want to become a pediatric oncologist, you can. There's no university. So that's a big reason to be behind for some particular disciplines. And that's something that needs to be solved. We decided to start opening this center, which is supposed to be a reference in Europe within the next years, hopefully. Because brain tumor is one of the most devastating cancer, child cancer. And it's one of the most complicated child cancers. And this is our bad case. So that's all. That's all the things that I thank you today. There is no way to do these things alone. Impossible. We cannot do it ourselves. So we need institutions, we need companies, we need hospitals, we need laboratories, we need people. Everybody counts. And without your help, we cannot just save more lives. It's completely impossible. So I encourage you to follow us. I encourage you to think about ways that you can support us. Because you know, I think it's our responsibility as a human beings to take care of our kids. It's our responsibility. We're all going to be saving someone's life, saving a kid's life. It's going to give back to the society a lot of things that are much more. So thank you very much for being here tonight. Thank you very much for your attention. I do love to talk for 5 minutes and everybody is still on top of me. So if anybody wants to make a question or anyone to ask me any kind of questions, I'd like to answer whatever you'd like to ask. Questions? No? Excited? Yes. Right. There's one person out there too. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we're gonna bring you Mike.
So how much money do you expect from your investments to be put into all these three aspects that you have? How much funding are you contemplating that you will be investing in actual research or clinical training, etc.?
You're asking me about percentage of money that we're going to allocate for each of the programs? Right. Yeah. So what we're going to do to start our idea is just to raise the fund that the fund that we're going to raise in the United States. We're going to dedicate it to programs that we initiated here in the United States, which is the Rich's House and the Rich Research. And the fund that we're going to raise out of the United States, mainly in Europe, in Spain, we're going to use it for Richie Fellows and Richie Foundation. This is more or less the criteria that we decided to start with. But a lot of things can change, honestly. And we are not a very old organization. We set up the foundation 3 years ago. We founded the foundation in February 2013. It took us 14 months to get a 501c3. I was just wanted to kill my lawyer because it promised me that it would be only 6 months, and then it turns into 14 months. And Bird today, the average is 20 months, more or less. And then, but we did a lot so far. And of course, we're learning. And we want to learn continuously. And now we're exploring a kind of partnership with several companies, and we are approaching to several companies. So honestly, we don't know what's going to happen. But this is more than our container from the very beginning. Let's see what things are going on from now.
Thank you very much for coming. I'm Ryan Garceau with Pfizer Inc., and this is an amazing story. I guess the question I have for you is, you have a lot of initiatives that you're trying to undertake right now, and I guess the question is, what is the best modality for you to achieve all of these things? I mean, you've got doctors coming, you're trying to create a Richie House, and the way that you're going about it seems expansive. And is it better for you to focus more on one concept right now and get that established? Or do you feel that the need of all three is something that you should try and tackle at once? Because each one individually seems very important and very in need, especially in light of everything you said. So curious to see if it would be better for you to just take one approach first or then tackle the next one after.
That's an interesting question indeed. You have to see the foundation working in two areas, two territories, which is United States and Europe. The needs are different in both of them, as you've said before. The answer is yes, I think we are able, we are capable to execute this four programs that we decided to set up. It is because we are building that foundation of the company. And it's because all background, all the people that is involved in the foundation, we come from the private sector. So it's not the first time we're doing this. It's not the first time that we are setting a company. Because for me, there's no difference between a foundation or just a normal company. Unfortunately, in this country, just realized how professional is the venture philanthropy sector. And this is awesome because I feel so comfortable. It's like feet in the water. Because when I talk with all those people, they follow me. We do understand each other. We talk about metrics, we talk about return on investments, we talk about measures, goals, strategy, and that's what they need. That's what we need. I mean, we did not decide to set up this project because we want just to give back. As all the parents that, which is awesome. We need them. I really want to make a difference. And I think we can do that. And being here in Boston, something like an opportunity. With all such a great people and all such a great ecosystem. If we are not doing that, we'll be very irresponsible. From my point of view. So we do have the skills, we do have the people and the knowledge and the experience. So why not? And there's money out there. By the way, I'm kind of an expert who meets people. That's what I was doing before, which is why I said no. That helps a little bit. Working for venture capital, and I was the one who was hired by companies for venture capital to convince others to pay money for something. So that's my profile. And that's because maybe it's easy for me or do say things more easy than for any other person that sets the foundation doesn't have that background. So in my case, I'm used to that. I'm used to knocking the doors, prepare a project, put all the puzzles together, do the final strategy, knock at the door, and get the deal done. So just in trying to bring that skill from the background, where's that project? And I think I'm so glad that we are in that such a great place because I think Boston is very unique for that. And I'm 100% sure there's no problem. There's no money issue as it's all to the about it. I think we can do it. It's tough. It's going to be difficult, but with a good strategy and the right people, the right partner, we can do it.
Any other questions?
Hi. I wanted to ask if you're planning to expand beyond the US and Spain into underdeveloped and developing countries where 80% of new cases are and where 20% of kids survive.
Yeah, we are already present in Spain. Richie Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization based in the United States. So we set up the foundation in Massachusetts. But we immediately opened another company, which is a foundation according to Spanish laws in Spain, and it's fully operating. So for the moment, our plan is just to focus on two spot territories. But ideally, and you asked me about because I'm a business person, so of course I have an ambition to be present in other territories. And I'm very interested, especially the volunteer programs, which is the international support to all these places where kids are dying because there's no basis. But I think we have to make sure that answer to questions. Now, our priority is just to set up those four projects in those territories and then generate the funds enough and to get the right people on board because we have to get the right people in our foundation in order to execute the project. So we'll see what's coming forward.
I have a couple of questions. One is, I saw that you have envisioned having different Richie houses in different countries. Are you doing the fundraising in those specific countries, or that is also coming from the United States? Or?
Yeah, ideally, the Richie House is not only a project that we expect to generate an impact immediately. So you have to realize there's 500,000 child cancer survivors in the United States, 500,000. If you add on that couple of figures, we're talking about 3.5 million people that are suffering the consequences of a child cancer. So for us, but it's also more important from a marketing point of view, the impact that we're going to just generate and the presence that we're going to be out there. So ideally, we're going to raise the funds for the Richie's House in the United States, and we're going to build in the United States at the United States, and when we go to another territory, I think it's fair that we raise the funds over there, but I think it's too soon, honestly, to give you an answer, proper answer, because with Laia, I'm not sure what's going to happen. So the first goal now is to set up the first house, and I'm very glad because we're getting a lot of support, especially, for instance, I want just to mention something which is very relevant. It's just I met with the mayor, Mary Walsh. She's a child cancer survivor and a very good supporter of Dana Farber. We met at one of the cancer survivor events that happened just 1 year and a half ago. And I approached him because I thought, you can help. And you are the one who can really help. And he was very interested in the project, and he said, yes, I really see that it's an opportunity to help a lot of people. He was isolated from, because he wasn't that one yet, 7 years old, and then he was on treatment for 4 years, and he knows very well, and so I don't need to explain more. And he knows people more. And he just confirmed that he will vaccinate, and he's willing to support the trade, and we're already identifying potential locations in Boston to build that trade. So, yeah, the first one is the most complicated. It's like in business, the first million, I'm always coming back to business because that's my mind is always thinking about how to do it. I think that's the big one.
Yeah. We have seen that you have the different programs, and when we want to do automation, so to the web page, we can do, for example, if we want to do, we like the fellowship, we want to contribute to this, so
yeah.
There is...
yeah, there's ways you can just visit the website, there's an email contact, so everybody is welcome to contact us. Whatever's going to happen. Because maybe you know somebody, and now maybe you know somebody who has a virgin, and he was touched by cancer. Cancer is touching everybody, unfortunately. So 60% of the people in that room will have cancer. Probably. 2 or 3 people. And just realized, 4 months on voice diagnosis, I didn't pay attention. Not at all. And I have to do something which is true. I never help people. Never, ever, on my life. I never helped my life. Not because I was a bad person, because I was so focused on my business, on my day-to-day. And now the only thing I want to do is just help kids now. Our kids to save as much as possible. And it's just discovered completely amazing world. And sometimes you talk with somebody, and we find a connection. So I encourage you to think about your connections and then contact us, because probably they will have somebody with the capacity to help us. It's really hard. It's only a question of willingness. When I met with companies, for instance, and then I'm meeting with companies lately because I'm looking for my parties, I'm looking for funding. And then I explain that there is somebody who says, "Oh, that's amazing, and congratulations," and then we admire, blah, blah, blah. They love talking about business. How are you going to help us? Oh, unfortunately, there is no program that we support because we have no priorities. I said, that's true, but you're a person and you can just generate and a new initiative in your company. I mean, it's all about people. In that case, and venture philanthropy is all about people. It's not about companies. Non-profit sector is about policy. Companies, it's different. But in venture philanthropy, it's all about companies. It's just the people that is in front of you that believes on that wants to help you. And if there's no initiative on the company, there's a good way, a good opportunity to generate a new one. But there's always ways to learn things. There's always ways to see them out. So, if you want to help, so contact us. Send an email. I have a copy of all the emails that we use. And so, be very, yeah. Okay, that's all.
Other questions? We have a reception right now. Ricardo is gonna be there for if you guys wanna talk to him more one-on-one. I would also encourage you, Richie's gonna be around with his mom, Katie, and so you can also get to meet him and continue the conversation. And thank you so much for coming. Thank you.